Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream, another day. There is a lot to update you on, so without further ado, I hope that you guys are up to date with everything that is going on in this world. There is throughout today there has been rumors that Iran might come back to the table and negotiate and ending on one condition, and one condition was that if US came back with a good alternative, whatever that means. Money markets is pricing in 60% chance of an ECB hike by December. If I can go back and see if I can find where it was said, it was the deputy of Iran who said that Iran was, for that matter, ready to get rid of uranium stockpile in the U.S. talks, according to IRNA. So I mean, that's positive. That's good for us. And okay, it's gone. Unless I am not good at all at searching, but yeah. And Iran also said that they haven't closed the Strait of Hormuz, even though they later allegedly set a U.S. tanker ablaze in the bay, in the Persian Bay, Gulf of Persia. So minor judgment. And Iranian Revolution Guard says that it hit a U.S. tanker in the northern part of the Gulf. The ship is currently on fire. That's about 6 hours ago. So should be new information regarding that. The European market wrap was that the U.S. stocks struggled to find direction. S&P futures barely changed. Brent briefly paired and advanced before resuming its climb. And developments in the U.S.-Israel conflict against Iran are once forcing traders to reduce risk after sentiment improves from the previous session. And worldwide bond sell-off offered no reprieve. So there is a couple of things. So first of all, we have my pound-dollar bullish trade. Not financial advice whatsoever. It's what I'm currently in. I mean, it's there. It's back and forth, in and out, up and down. So yeah, I think it's alright. I'm still wondering what we are waiting for. What kind of catalyst, now that the strait is still open allegedly? US has said that there is insurance. The US has said that they're going to protect the ships, even though we know they can't, because they tried to do that in the Red Sea and practically impossible, and they don't have enough firepower for that long to continue to do that. And thirdly, we have Iran that is at least willing to go back to the negotiation table. So what is the escalation that is needed? I don't know, because right now, as you see, this is again coming back to escalation. They shoot at each other back and forth, back and forth. And that's that. And here is the closing of the strait, and evidently that makes the market fall. And by the way, we are not back at where we started the week either. So I'm wondering what the market is looking for as a catalyst to drive this one market higher, other than what we have been provided with already. So to me, that's a bit of I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but I'm like, okay, I'm an extreme optimist at the moment. I have to say that I'm extremely optimistic at the moment. So, because I want to be. Maxi, you're here in time. Very much welcome. Hello, Harold. US doesn't have enough physical hardware to escort all tankers. Yeah. So yeah, they don't have the firepower. They don't have the ships that is needed. The amount of ships and the correct types of ships. So it's a difficult thing, and I can see that, and maybe that's why the market is like, we don't really see that happening. So I think we need some kind of resolution by the end of the day, so that, because Qatar said that they closed down their gas refinery, and it will take them 2 weeks to restart, and then another 2 weeks to get it back up to full production. I think it was 2 weeks, another 2 weeks, or another month. But regardless, it would take some time for them to get back online. That is if everything was cleared tomorrow and we're going to go back. We have seen some flights. I don't know the quantity of it, but there were some flights going out of Abu Dhabi. There's some flights going out of Dubai. There's flights going out of Muscat. I haven't seen flights resumed from Qatar and Doha. But as I see, it's kind of like, it's. I think they're waiting and they're still under fire, so really can't do anything yet. So again, uh, under not under investigation, but it's under review, and of when it potentially could be viable to open up again. And of course, that depends. Now, earlier this morning, we had a strike in Azerbaijan, Almaty, Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is blaming Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and Iran says it wasn't us, allegedly at least. So we'll see what that comes about. We have seen today that the Brits, the French, the Spanish is going to escort or help out with what is it called? Aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle, moving into the Mediterranean and coming from Baltic and going to the Mediterranean to provide, I don't know, I guess air support from the European side of the Middle East, so that it doesn't come into Europe as well. So that is also a new development of today. And that kind of doesn't necessarily make the stock markets to rise, you know. It makes them flat. It makes them like, we don't like that kind of. It's not an escalation per se, but it's a situation where you're wondering to yourself, uh, is it an escalation? Is it, are we just the same? And if you look at the market reaction at any given moment, it is just whatever in the middle. And we can see some strength coming into dollar right now. We can see some weakness in the S&P on the candle. But in the grand scheme of things of this week, we are relatively flat, relatively nowhere. We are going up and down, and we are not really finding a footing for either direction. So that means that my pound is going in and out. I know people have sold pound, and I wish you guys all the best. But I also want to make this one to go higher. So I will focusing all the positive news. But at the end of the day, we still have a locked situation in the Middle East. We have, and more importantly, we do not have free flow of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. That is important. That is basically why we're falling. Because the war in itself was the open, and now we are pricing in the implication. And also, China came out yesterday and said, "Hey, people, we want you to we want you to open the strait, make sure that ships are getting through, because on the other side." Um, on the other side, China's the one that is suffering. They are the one that is not getting oil. But on the other side, all these countries have stockpiles. not necessarily for gas, but for oil, the general country is not going to go empty. And if you search online, you're going to find statistics on that. I don't know, but we're talking, I don't know, 180 days or 200 days or something in general. So this can continue on for some time before they start screaming. But the other question is that how long is this going to continue? How long is Trump willing? And it seems like they are prepared for a long time. Um, and everyone else is like, can't it be over now? So there's that. Nick joining on the short. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that, Maxi. I saw that. And yeah, okay. When did he sell it? Because I could see people being funny about it. Sold. Oh, okay. He sold 7 pips above mine. So okay. So he sold. Okay, 68. Yeah. So we are basically on the same price then. Okay. Either he is wrong or I am wrong. I don't know. But this is a fight. Because as I says that this war is surely surely pointless. And I obviously agree. We didn't need this, and then the reasoning they have given us is absolute. Gives me Bush vibes. And for that matter, okay, you do you, but you're tossing the whole world into. And on the first time Trump was gonna be elected, he said that US was done being the world police, that they were done trying to fix all the mess around the world, and they were going to focus on being domestic and make America great again. But here we are, deploying troops into the Middle East to have another country on the bombing list. So yeah, initial jobless claims 213 versus 215 versus 212 versus 213. Point blank the same. It's okay. It's an okay. It's an okay jobless claim. Nothing too crazy there. And if you look at the data lately, data sales, May jobless claims is okay. Labor cost is okay. Trade balance out of Europe is okay. And producer price is better than expected. So there is that. And unemployment rate was better, and CPI out of Europe was better. So I mean, can't complain. So trading. Euro dollar. I'm waiting for this euro dollar to make a new higher high. I'm waiting for it to go beyond 16.52. It was pretty rough going down to 15.50. And I assume that market will turn lower when we are when we don't have a solution to the situation. So for me, if this candle was green, I thought it would be. That's why I was here. Like, cool, we can make a trade. I wanted that, and then it didn't happen. This is what I'm looking for. So it's just about time. I don't know how much time we have and all that, but something in this direction at least is my primary thought. Good morning, Kevin. So for me, it depends. Can we turn higher? And it was really positive like a few hours ago. But yeah, so I entered pound here, and we have fallen a bit and gone up again. So this is still acting as support. at 133. We are unable to get through 134, and I find that to be okay. It is what it is. Can't complain. But since I have money on the line, I really wanted to go higher. Thank you. Do that, please. So I don't like this candle, but I know that it's been up and down, up and down, up and down lately. So one red candle here and there doesn't really bother me. But I was really optimistic on that candle. I was like, this is going to be great. British pound, Japanese yen. A yen pair is on the other side is way more positive. For euro yen, I'm still hoping and waiting and praying for it to turn around higher. I don't want to win there, but still, I think this is a great buy. I just need a trend, you know. We have been quite range bound lately. We came down to support, hit that twice, and I would even argue that another wave could have been slightly lower and then push higher. So maybe that is coming, but at the end of the day, I don't play that play because if I buy here, I need 150, 130 pips stop loss. If I buy here now, I can get away with 100. So I want a new higher high basically. So make sure that we are going in the direction that I wanted to go. Show it to me so that I can continue. But of course, I put myself in a situation where that is bearish and this is bullish, and I'm very high. But if we're going to trend, if I'm going to be right, then I'd rather stick here than trying to buy low and then it breaks. Then it's just about probabilities and everything else. So right now, just cleaning up the chart a bit. I'm looking for an entry here. Oops. Sorry. Looking for an entry that is green. Something like this. And I was hoping that would be today. I didn't get it. If you look at the daily pivots, we're still falling. So if this makes a new higher, then that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I just need a new higher high. Thank you very much, sir. What's your take on Swiss yen? Very in and out. I was hoping for it to continue. Well, with yen weakness, hoping for it to continue higher. With SMB coming in and intervene the other day makes me a bit nervous. So probably if we go back up to 204, that there's going to be another intervention. So there is a difference now between fundamentals, technicals, wish and wants from the S&B. That if it goes higher, it would just be smacked down. So that is a risk. But for yen, it should go higher. For Swiss, I mean, it could still get stronger. I mean, we are in a risk-off situation. But yeah, I think in a risk-on situation, yen will be weakest. So Swiss will find itself higher. Just a game of probabilities, to be honest with you. But that's kind of where we are. And then because we're trying to go higher, smack down, trying to go higher, smack down, but every time we smack down, we still go higher. So that's just for me, it's just a game of probabilities. I can be wrong. But on the other side, if this is bearish, why is it continuing bearish? That's all. I was thinking Aussie yen should rise, but even this one has turned into some kind of weak thing. Aussie CAD I thought would fall. Sorry, rise with also being strong, but I underestimated the strength in the CAD. twice come up to a situation where you could sell it off. So, but I didn't take it. But I mean, it looks bearish. But I don't think it will be bearish when the oil weakness comes in. Okay, it went higher last year. Okay, maybe. I think this is just going to be a weak, strong situation. So rather not do that. And same thing for us in New Zealand. Euro New Zealand should be an opposite one. So okay, that's going to be a strong, weak situation. Not really moving. Euro CAD. Wow. Wouldn't you look at that? Why didn't I? Well, I need to write that down in some kind of book somewhere, where if there's a situation in the Middle East, sell your CAD. Absolutely smack down 200 pips lower, 270 pips lower. Okay, that needs to go into my book of what happened. Did it do that last year? Yeah, I mean it fell-ish, but then it turned higher, and then it really turned higher. Okay, so I guess it's your CAD lower because it's a prolonged situation that hasn't helped, and then straight close. And I think that really sent this one lower. Yeah, playing both intervention risk. You're in sell from 202 on Swiss yen. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit low, but if I were to sell it like a salad, probably 203, like just just a situation like this after all. But because I feel like this is like, if you're thinking like in an overall downtrend thing, I feel like we are here. I mean, we can still fall from here, but it's just that it's just one out of, I don't know, 3 possibilities. You can do that, and then you can all the way up there and then fall. What I mean like by that is where your Swiss isn't that good at it. Okay, maybe your Swiss actually is a better one to not do it then. Yeah, so falling for that matter. Are we going to have reverse probably? Cool. Like, are we going to have a 23 pullback? Sorry. Are we going to have a 23 pullback? Are we going to have a 38, 50, 61, 78, or 90? I would argue that 618 is better, and I feel like you are now at 30, 23, so it's a bit aggressive, but that was my feelings. I can do the double check. Of course, it's 38. Yeah, I always say somewhere between 38 to 618 to sell, but not really. I mean, that CAD move on pound CAD, yeah, absolutely, absolutely great move on you. And it's just me who is the slow brain to not think about that. But 170 pips. I don't know if I would have sold pound. Well, could I have sold pound? It's already bearish by that time. I probably would have sold if I was in my mindset. What would I have sold? Yeah, bought Guardian. But yeah. Hi, Christian. What's your thoughts on the euro pound? Weak, strong. it has had one ride after another lately. First up, then down. I think it's very difficult to anticipate where your pound will go when everything is weak, strong at the same time. And you can see here for the past few days in this week, we have been very small range bound. I don't have a clear direction on it because I believe both of them should be strong once we are getting out of this mud that we are in, and I can't wait for us to get out of this mud. So I think it's difficult to make a technical direction and then a general direction as well of it, because you really want strong against weak, and price action shows me it's not really strong or weak, and I'm planning to buy euro dollar whenever it just makes a new higher high. So I'll be buying both of them. So that's probably why I find it difficult to have a thought about it. Trade one pulse. What about Australian dollar, US dollar? So absolutely fantastically bullish. Going into a range now lately. I would imagine it to have even more bullishness in it because of the increase in commodity prices. But of course, it's against the US dollar. So I'm generally optimistic and bullish. Also, I'm still bullish if it falls 200 pips though. So there is that. But I'm literally hoping for, praying for my two toes and my 4 feet that it is going to go higher. And that's not based upon your technical analysis. It's more based upon where do I believe Aussie as a country should go, with higher inflation, high interest hikes. It should be demand for the Australian dollar. Difficult against the dollar at the moment, as of today, as of now, which is a very strong, good economy. Of course, now helped out with the Ukraine, with the Iran situation, so that makes it stronger, double stronger. But I mean, once that is solved, I think this is going to have a bunch of a ride. So at the moment, I feel like it's constrained. It's in a positive situation, and I'm just waiting for it to show me that it wants to go bullish. So I have a bullish outlook. Think it should go higher, and I'm waiting for it to go higher. It's weekly. Okay. Yeah, we haven't done much this week then. Yeah, so it's just range bound. Did it catch up some buyers from monthly? Maybe that would be pretty fun, interesting. Central pivot. It wasn't central. Okay. So what I'm waiting for is something like this direction, and then up to 0.7250 for the month. And then once we hit that, I want a hard pullback, fall hard, so we can go back up in April. But I remember last year in April we had the tariffs, so that made April really good month for Aussie. But of course, it was because of the unprecedented disruption. So there is that as well. Oh, Max, you're leaving me alone. Oh no. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love it. Yeah, okay, people. Go back to where we were. So just a red candle right now. So S&P doesn't change me at all at the moment. Japan yen is having a bit of a rough day lower. I would imagine this one to go bullish. And this is the Nikkei JP225. Japan's 225 biggest companies. And it has had a very great bullish February. I had a great bullish January. So I'm just waiting for confirmation for it to continue higher. With lower inflation numbers, lower growth, lower economic activity, Japan is not, in my world, going to increase interest rates going, at least in the next meeting. So it should still keep the Japanese 225, the Nikkei, going on for higher. So, but I mean, short-term volatility. It is what it is. Yeah. Ow, we closed out a candle like that. Oh, okay. I don't like that. Because that turns everything into a range. Uh, when I want something and I'm not getting it, I turn into a child. Somebody called me a clown the other day. So, cheers. I'll take that every day. It means that we are having fun. Because why? Who doesn't want to have fun being trading? So, euro-dollar waiting for it to go higher. I mean, how I don't know how. Okay, it had been some days, and I was like, why don't you just buy it here yesterday? I was like, I mean, that's not your rules, is it? So, and now I'm glad I'm not in loss on the same trade, but it could be, for that matter, a 1 hour candle, so it could not be any second, but it could be any moment that it does make a new high. So if you leave now, go out for a run, go out for a bike ride, and you come back, I bet market has moved. Just my fair share of luck always happens, and then it goes to my stop loss. So I fear going out for a run. Pound. I mean, if this comes back, I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready for a new higher high, higher low. We can take another stab at this pound dollar, and then we will be fully committed if that happens. When could that happen? So these moves generally are quite slow, but of course, if we have a rapid rise, meaning we have a US coming back and saying, hey, we have our I think what we're waiting for Trump and US to come out and say that our objectives have been met. And I think when that is being said one way or another, but hinting to that direction, I think that we are going to see. I think we're going to see a good candle higher. I think it's going to be difficult to catch it if that impulse move happens, but I mean, we have to be optimistic. We have to wait for price. We have to wait for it to come back down again, and then it can continue higher. Um, Kind of like this move where it does fall, but it does also come back and gives you some kind of resistance and some kind of ability to sell some kind of price. So, to me, bullish price action reversal, potentially at least. And in the meantime, it's bearish. So I just have to wait. I have traded against my good friend Max, and I've traded against my good other friend Nick. So right now we are standing in a battle. So I hope that you add a like to this stream so that we show that we show support. We show support, and then whoever comes out in victory can, I don't know, tremble like a silverback. Something. I don't know. I don't know what the prize would be. Is there honor? Is there honor in this world? New Zealand came out bullish, and I thought maybe that's a good candidate. Came down here. I don't know. Why is it not rising? Yeah. So, I don't know why I don't feel it. I don't know why I don't feel it. It's not enough, because that's the resistance it needs to break. Maybe that's why I don't feel it. So until then we need to break 15 on 50. That's a lot. I mean, it's a late entry. And right now we are just on the number one trade. Well, we're on the number one trade at the moment, which has 50% chance of having positive feedback, so positive returns. So it crashes and we don't want to talk to anybody anymore, and we're going to close the trade, and everything just goes downhill. If anyone can maybe look at this Starmer, or at least get the get the what do you call it in English? If anyone can get the summary of whatever he's saying, if he says anything interesting, that would be very great, because I can't do that on stream. The fundamental overview at the moment is oil price remains supported because the US-Iran war, and virtually closed the Strait of Hormuz. The bullish momentum on crude has been weighing down because of some de-escalation throughout today. Just this morning, the Iranian deputy foreign minister said that Iran was ready to abandon its nuclear program on condition that the United States present a satisfactory alternative offer. Yesterday, we got New York Times report saying that Iran was secretly contacting the US to find a solution to end the war, although the Iranian dismissed the report as fake news. Of course, if you're trying to secretly to get contact of someone, you're not going to publicly admit that. Secondly, that is not a regime change. That is not what. Well, if Trump agrees now and settles down and says that Iran is the greatest country in the world, like he has done before, I don't know. We didn't get the regime change then. And I've seen them. At least I've seen that they are trying, or that they're training, and are likely using, say, to deploy the Kurdish Iranians or Iraqi to do military intervention with boots on the ground without it being U.S. Americans. I find that to be, I don't. I'm not a military expert. I find that quite strange, because do they have enough firing power? I saw earlier that U.S. had declared that had air supremacy in the south of Iran, and they're going to do that further. That means, at least for the air, anti-aircraft systems are all taken out, at least according to US and how they feel about the world. Yeah, Starmer sending jets to Jordan and sorry to Qatar, and they are sending helicopters with anti-drone capacity into Cyprus. I don't know who asked. I think maybe it was the US who asked to help out, asked Ukraine to help out with anti-drone technology. And Iran says they're trying to expand ties with Azerbaijan. We shoot them first. We first send that drone there, and then we want to be friends with them. That doesn't make sense, does it? Barkin, recent inflation data does rise a doubt about whether the fight is over. That's a bullish statement, meaning that inflation is still too high in America. The United States economy is still doing too great. And the job that the fight he's discussing here is to get the inflation back down to 2%. Tuba Bangs, if I remember you, where are you from? I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have people from around the world. Uh, remind me, please. If I know your name is probably better. But I mean, what did we do together? Did we deploy in the military together? Did we did we do special operations together? Or is it in special operations doing dollar yen? So I'm sorry, Toro Banks, it doesn't come across very quickly in the top of my head. No, I do apologize for that. But please enlighten me, and in half a minute we'll be best friends like forever. US unit labor cost comes in 2.8 versus 2.0. That still speaks that this US is still doing great also. Your next friend. Okay. Then I don't remember you because you say Nick. You're Nick's friend. You're not even my friend, and you ask me to remember you. Bruv. Let's be friends with me first. Now I'm happy to have you here. It's those two communities are intertwined, and there is a bajillion names in there. But yeah, that's all. So I'm sorry. I apologize. What's my insight on gold? Once this situation is over, gold is bullish. So the reason why gold is falling is higher inflation expectations coming in for the United States, and of course that's going to be priced out whenever this Iran-US war is over. So we would challenge the 5,400. And in the meantime, I apologize, but I mean, it depends. Because I had the sense that there was a lot of de-escalation, and that should rise, and that has risen gold slightly. But it's completely free up whenever US declare, I don't know, win or that they are backing off, then gold should rise. So to me, the potential, because the potential down is already priced in, the potential up hasn't been priced in yet, meaning that we have an end to the war. And that's where the potential lies. And are we in a situation there right now? No. So if I was myself, not as it doesn't really matter price, but if it can come down to 4,800, totally wishful thinking. That would be a better price than jumping off here. But I mean, wherever the price is at the time where we're given the news that the war is over, gold is going to rise. What does war in the Middle East have a correlation with oil market and dollar? Good question. The easy answer is that if you look at, okay, the long answer, sorry. We go to US labor and statistics. And we go and we look at their CPI, and you look at their CPI report. And you look at, okay, what kind of components does CPI contain? And you can see here energy. And you can see here fuel oil. And the fuel oil is oil price is one of the key components, of inflation in the United States of America. So it has a direct implication on US CPI. And US CPI and inflation is a direct implication effect on the US interest rates. So its core to what we do as traders is to trade the difference pricing in and pricing out of higher and lower interest rates into the future. So a war there and then war, why does oil rise? Because 20% of the world's oil is being processed and shipped through the Strait of Hormuz. It's closed, so we lack now 20% of the world oil, which is dramatically a lot. Secondly, countries has storage of oil, but it can't go on forever. So if this stops, it's going to collapse, and that will send oil price to the roof because of supply and demand, lack of supply, and increased or the same demand is going to send the price to the roof, and that is also going to send CPI through the roof. Good and good. But during 2022, this was the single most energy was the biggest driver of CPI back in 2022. Now it's dragging it down on a year-to-year basis, but yeah. So does that make sense, Turbo Banks? And a strong dollar sends gold lower. A weak dollar sends gold higher. Expectations for inflation to fall makes gold higher. Expectations for U.S. interest rates to go higher makes gold fall. Makes gold fall. So higher interest rates, lower gold. Lower interest rates, higher interest rates, lower gold. Lower interest rates, higher gold. Just making sure I said it right. Shall we see? Euro, Aussie, CAD, Swiss, Euro, pound. Okay. Are we getting through here now? Are we getting a new entry tomorrow on pound yen today? Okay, interesting. New Zealand yen, really? Euro, pound. Okay. Yeah, good. Love it. So that's like that's like the primary driver. But then, of course, I said during 2022, right? During 2022, we had the invasion of Ukraine and stuff, and inflation increased, and that is about here. And then you can see gold overall falling until end of 2022 when inflation starts to peak. So I think, can we add that US CPI? US Consumer Price Index, new price scale, and then we invert it. Yep, that's actually the correct scale. So an increase is correct even, US CPI. So 2020. No, that doesn't make sense at all because it's not supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be a percent. Let's do percent. Percent. Okay. No, it doesn't fit it. Doesn't fit. Okay. But because inflation is supposed to fall, so I don't know why it doesn't do it. But regardless, it would be but here a gold went parabolic. That's not because of US oil though, but sorry, about because of oil and because of inflation. But yeah. Good. I really wanted to sell dollar Swiss yesterday, and I was like, that should be a great deal. And it seems to me that I need to wait for this to turn lower. I don't like, well, it's kind of there, kind of not there. It's kind of there, but it's not really. It seems like it's more supported, and I need a breakthrough like on euro dollar, so it becomes like an opposite of euro dollar trade. Because if this was great, this was a great opportunity and great idea, we should have made a new lower low. So I am definitely the firm believer that if something is supposed to happen, it will show itself. And it will also show itself if it's not supposed to happen. So right now, I'm not saying that we're going to go higher for that matter, but it's not showing me bearishness. So good on you. The Swiss National Bank came in here and did some intervention on Monday. So that's why pound Swissy went higher. That's why dollar Swissy went higher and cash Swissy went higher. I would imagine that cat Swiss should actually be a much more bullish than what it is, but that's why it turned higher. And I would imagine that when this war is ending and we have a de-escalation, I think then I'm imagining this one should turn higher, because the initial reaction to the war was lower, and we are still kind of lower. So that if we get a de-escalation situation, that I would imagine that one to turn higher. So that's another one you should be waiting for and expecting to go higher and not to go lower. And if for that matter, it can go lower, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I don't believe that's going to be the reaction from the market. And when you have the reaction from the market, you are going to have it quite quickly, and we're going to rise quite quickly. So you need to be clicking on the mouse, be ready to enter and engage when you have, and it's not based upon technical analysis, it's based upon news. Today effective funds rate is 364. Okay, fair enough. It is what it is then. So going forward, does fundamentals work in the situation? Kind of, to an extent. I think that's going to pick up later, whenever we don't have this kind of situation. Now you're seeing U.S. oil and Brent, UK oil, crude oil, trying to make higher highs, and I think that is just I think that's just a picture of where we currently are in the world. It's not necessarily, it doesn't, yeah, the situation is not necessarily fixed or anything like that. So it is what it is. All right, cool. I've been talking about some assets. Is there any assets you want me to cover or go through that I haven't, or for that matter, do it again? For that matter, for that matter, indices, stocks, forex, commodities that you are interested. I'll be, I'll be, uh, I'll be very appreciative. We haven't discussed silver though. So that's a bit of a similar situation as gold. Of course, we had the absolute rise through here, and then the Chinese lunar year came in and made things pause. But we haven't done a new higher high, and I think that is also another asset that's going to have new highs and new higher lows once we have uh, a clear break in the war. And if we, for that matter, go back to last year, yeah, had a bit of a rise there and had a fall first and then a rise. So yeah, I would imagine that one to go higher at the end of the day. New Zealand should also be good looking to go higher once everything is set. I think right now everything is just, well, it is what it is. We're waiting. We're waiting for something, and we're just going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So I'm waiting for Euro yen to go higher, pound yen to go higher, New Zealand yen to go higher, Aussie yen, euro dollar, euro yen, and euro dollar is probably the two assets I'm mostly waiting for. I could add a dollar Swiss short on that. New Zealand dollar, US dollar is now coming in just to show me again where the number one entry is, if that's what you want. I feel like threatened that we might fall more, so this is now starting to become the support. Of course, that is the buy price to buy, but then we don't have clear situation going forward. So there is that. So that's what I'm looking for, and I'm still in S&P 500. It's just going in and out. Nothing changed. Same thing for Nasdaq, and Japan is therefore falling a bit. 10-year US 10-year is climbing as we're pricing in higher inflation. Japan, yeah, range bound, and 2-year also having a rise because of that. And oil is trying to make a new higher high. All right, people. I thank you for joining in today. Hopefully you had a bit of a fun time today. Learned something new, had some new friends, and I hope to be there back tomorrow at the same time. So until next time, oh, love you.